Okay, I'm just going to get started. So, hello and welcome to this EFT Masterclass. So my name is Nicola Rae-Wickham from A Life More Inspired, and I'm hosting this masterclass today with the lovely Samantha Wardle. I will let her introduce herself in a moment, but I just wanted to take a moment to kind of say why we're here and why I think it's so important. A Life More Inspired is all about beautiful everyday reminders of inspiration. It's my vision to help women realise how amazing they are, and also just to make life easier, make things more convenient, bring more everyday joy into life. And so kind of through the self-development journey I've been on over the last year, I've picked up lots of tools and techniques that I'm just really keen to share. And I'm really passionate about people building up a toolkit. So this is a toolkit of tools and techniques that you can just add into your life to help with the challenges, or there might be things that you want to achieve and you just don't know how you're quite going to get there. So A Life More Inspired also becomes about building that toolkit. So when I met Samantha, I was really excited that she was an EFT practitioner. EFT is something that I have dabbled with over the last few months, but I've never actually sat down and learned from an expert how to do it, what it is, and also a slightly different way of doing it that Samantha will take us through this evening. So when I met her, I was like, yeah, let's do this masterclass. I'm really keen to introduce EFT to my A Life More Inspired community. So some of you might know what EFT is already. It might be something that you've used, or it might be totally new to you. But either way, I'm really glad that you are here. If it's something that you've done before, but you haven't quite got the hang of it, like me, the approach that Samantha takes is really, really helpful. It turned it around for me, and it made into something that is useful, that I use pretty much every other day. You'll see me tapping away. So I was just really excited to introduce this new tool to your toolkit. So I will hand over to Samantha now to let her introduce herself.
Thank you. So I'm Samantha Wardle. I am a hypnotherapist and EFT practitioner, and I'm really excited. Nicola's invited me here today to do this masterclass. We're going to be focusing on EFT, so that is emotional freedom technique, or tapping, and you'll find out why it's called tapping later. It will become obvious. So I love EFT. I experienced EFT first when I was doing my hypnotherapy training with the Royal Berkshire College of Clinical Hypnosis, and at first I had my reservations about it because it's quite a strange idea. It's a little bit weird. Actually, it's a lot weird, and I get some funny looks when we, first start doing the technique. And I just didn't really know how it was going to sort of incorporate into hypnotherapy and everything like that. But I quickly changed my mind when I experienced EFT for myself. I did a demonstration in class, actually. I volunteered to be demonstrated on, and an ongoing issue that I had been causing me quite a bit of an issue for the good part of a year, disappeared within 5 minutes of tapping with my tutor, and that was it for me. It was quite a wow moment. Without wanting to sound too dramatic, it literally sort of blew my mind a bit, and that was it. I was hooked. So I love talking about EFT, and I'm really sort of happy to be here and explaining what it is and how you can implement it into your day-to-day or as and whenever you need it, because it's such a great tool. It's such a great technique. It's actually, once you've got the idea of it, it's very simple, and you can really benefit from it. So Thank you, Nicola. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a bit of a demonstration for you.
Fantastic. So we're going to do this in a kind of Q&A format. And if anybody has any questions, just pop them in the chat box and I will ask them to Samantha at the end. But I'm really keen for us to go through kind of the what, the whys, the hows of EFT, because as Samantha said, it is a bit strange. And when you start to explain it to people, it is kind of, really? You do what? So we're just going to kind of go into it in more detail. And as Samantha says, we'll do a demonstration so that maybe this evening you can take yourself off, quiet space, and try it out for yourself as well. So just to start off with, Samantha, can you just tell us what is EFT?
Okay, so EFT is emotional freedom technique. It's quite a recent development therapy, but it has its roots in kind of ancient Chinese practice. So it's an energy therapy along the lines of sort of acupuncture, acupressure, Reiki, that kind of thing. And it's based on the idea that our bodies are an energy system, and that any negative emotions or issues that we have are caused by a kind of a block or a disturbance or disruption of some sort in our energy system. And EFT is a technique that we can kind of discharge those negative emotions and just get that energy flowing the way it needs to and release those blockages.
And what I love about EFT is the multitude of things that it can be used for as well. So when you're talking about blockages there, it's kind of it's almost like the mental blockages, isn't it? So what would you say are the different things that it can be used for?
I mean, the list is pretty endless. It's a long list. I mean, I think, any negative emotional issue that you're experiencing, so perhaps common ones would be anxiety and stress, grief, childhood trauma, fears and phobias. It can also treat very specific issues. So you could look at things like pain relief, skin complaints, insomnia, travel sickness, anything that's negative that's going on, I would have a go at EFT. But also it's great for doing very generalized areas as well. So if, for example, things are not going quite right in a general area in your life, so perhaps relationships or money or health, EFT you can use in those general areas to kind of narrow down and find out the root cause, of that whatever it is that's going on for you. So lots of things.
Definitely. And I found my personal experience that a year ago I launched a business, and I didn't realize until I went to press publish on the website how scared I was. I was kind of like petrified suddenly of being visible, of putting myself out there. So it was almost this kind of macro issue that I had. And even through different types of therapies, and then more recently EFT, it enables me to get to the root of the story. And that's partly what I love about it as well, is because, A Life More Inspired is all about rewriting the stories that hold us back, those stories that we've either been assigned by other people or we've adopted. And EFT is one of the main things that gets to the root cause of the stories that you don't even know are there, because it allows you to kind of explore them. So for me personally, confidence was a big one, that kind of the one that I would start off with. But then when it gets down to the nitty gritty, there'll be certain kind of triggers or themes or issues and things. So that's great. Now to the fun bits. How do we do it?
Demonstration.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the first thing, if I explain to you how EFT kind of works, and then as I explain that, and I'll go through how to do it. So we use the meridian points in the face and on the body to tap with our fingers, whilst we focus on the negative issue, the problem, and whilst we tap on our meridian points and we talk about the problem, the idea is that we really want to charge up and connect with that negative emotion that's behind it all. And so we really want to get the specifics of a problem. We really want to identify the problem. So, for example, you know, a headache, for example, you know, you really want, you know, how does that headache feel? Is it a pounding headache? Is it in the front of my head? You know, get as much information, as much sort of specifics about it as you can. And then the meridian points in the body, which I'll show you in a second, you just talk about the problem, and eventually what will happen is you will feel a shift or a release of some sort. It's hard to explain it. You kind of feel it when it happens, and it normally just takes a few rounds of tapping. And what can happen during that time is there will be a shift in the emotion or a shift in the physical or the issue itself. And you know, it's a very organic process. Different things might come up. You know, you might be feeling quite angry about, you know, this headache might kind of stir up a feeling of anger, and then after a couple of rounds of tapping, you know, it kind of, that anger just disappears and you're left with maybe you know, a worry or something like that. So it's a very sort of individual process. It's very organic, and you know, as I demonstrate, it become quite clear. So the parts of the body, you're going to join along with me, aren't you, Nicola?
Yeah.
You know, and obviously everyone at home can join along, but you know, if you're somewhere public right now, probably wait and do it on a replay or something, because this is where it gets embarrassing. You want to be in private, okay? So the first part is the karate chop, and this is the fleshy part of the hand here, and that is our first tapping point. And you just, you know, medium pressure, you don't want to be causing any discomfort, okay? Then the second tapping point, and I tend to use just 2 fingers, and you can use either hand, either side of your face, it doesn't matter. And it's on the eyebrow, and it's the brow bone, it's the start of the eyebrow, so it's the kind of the top of your nose and along your brow bone here. So just at the start of the eyebrow, okay? And that's the first point on the face. And then follow that brow bone down to the corner of the eye, so the side of the eye. And again, just on that bone, just gently tapping. Then the next point is under the eye, again on that cheekbone, just gently tapping there. And then after that, under the nose and on the chin. And you kind of want that creasy bit there, you know, between the lip and the chin. So get in that crease and just tap there. And then the next part is the collarbone. So you want that, I don't know what to call it, that dippy hole bit, like a V. And again, it doesn't matter either side. And for this one, I tend to use either the whole of my hand, or you can make it kind of a fist. You want to tap to the side of that hole, so just under your collarbone there. So just like that. If you're not sure of the area, just use your hand and you'll kind of hit the mark at some point. The next one is, ladies, it's where your bra strap is. Under your arm. And again, use the whole hand and kind of just gently, like, slap. Slap's probably the wrong word. Tap. Don't hurt yourself. The next and the last one is on top of the head, and I use all my fingers here and I just kind of tap around on the top like that. Okay, so these are that's the sequence, that's the tapping sequence. There's lots of meridian points on our body. Some people you'll see doing it use fingers, wrists, all sorts. You know, it's not essential to use every meridian point. Those are the ones that I've learned, and they're the ones that I tend to use quite naturally. It kind of makes a nice sort of flow for me, so I remember them easily.
And that's a point, Samantha, about remembering, because I know when I first encountered EFT and saw these meridian points, it's like, how would I ever remember that? But you do once you start to practice it. So you use a video masterclass like this one, and once you've done it a couple of times, it's funny how your mind starts to remember it. And even if you don't do it in that exact order, you hit those points.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very weird. I find the eye ones really relaxing. It's just really nice to tap on the ones around the eyes.
And some people will find that some points for them are more sensitive than others. And because the different meridian parts of the body relate to different emotions and different parts of the body. So depending on what the issue is, some parts will feel more sensitive than others. So it's kind of quite a good guide. If you kind of hit a tender spot, you know, maybe there's something going on there. Maybe that's one you should focus on. So should we do a demonstration?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I think we'll do stress because that's something that everyone can relate to, really. This is obviously going to be a very kind of generalized demonstration. When I work one-to-one with people, it's much more personalized. It's kind of very individual and much more specific, but you can definitely get the gist of what's going on with this general demonstration. So we start off by identifying the problem. So stress. And what we do is we want to have a gauge that we can focus on throughout the session. So I tend to ask, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really bad and 0 being okay, I'm all right. You know, where are you at the moment on that stress? So say, you know, you're around about an 8. You know, there's a lot going on at home, at work, you're feeling a little bit stressed, and your stress levels are probably about an 8. So once you've kind of got that scale, it's really good then to go back and you can kind of judge where you're moving along with that. So we do the setup to start with by tapping on the karate point, and we identify the problem, we acknowledge it in this setup. So we'll say, and you repeat after me, even though I'm feeling really stressed right now.
I'm feeling really stressed right now.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even though I'm feeling really stressed right now.
I'm feeling really stressed right now.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even though I am so stressed right now.
Even though I'm so stressed right now.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Okay. So once we've done that setup, we start on the tapping rounds, okay? So on the eyebrow, I'm so stressed right now.
I'm so stressed right now.
All this stress.
All this stress.
I feel really overwhelmed.
I feel really overwhelmed.
I've got so much to do.
I've got so much to do.
I don't know when I'm going to get it done.
And I don't know when I'm going to get it done.
And it's stressing me out.
And it's stressing me out.
And I feel really overwhelmed.
And I feel really overwhelmed.
All this stress.
All of this stress.
I just don't know when I'm going to have the time to do it all.
I just don't know when I'm going to have the time to do it all.
No one's able to help me.
No one's able to help me.
I've got to do it all myself.
I've got to do it all myself.
And I'm stressing about it.
And I'm stressing about it.
I'm worrying about it at night.
I'm worrying about it at night.
And I can't sleep properly.
And I can't sleep properly.
And I'm feeling really stressed.
And I'm feeling really stressed.
Okay. All this stress.
All this stress.
I just need to let it go.
I just need to let it go.
I need to let it go.
I need to let it go.
I choose to let it go.
I choose to let it go.
I choose to relax.
I choose to relax.
I choose to relax.
I choose to relax.
So I can get everything done.
So that I can get everything done.
Okay, take a nice deep breath in now and exhale. Okay, so that was kind of a round of tapping. And at this point, you would kind of go back to that scale of 0 to 10 and find out how you feel around about now. And hopefully that will have come down a bit. I don't know about you, but you know, I feel a bit calmer anyway. So let's say, for example, I'm kind of thinking about my stress and it's, you know, it's down to a good 5 or a 4 right now. But I'm still feeling a bit, I'm still feeling a bit stressed out, I have to say. You know, it hasn't disappeared completely. And that is when we can do another round of tapping. So we'll start again and just say, even though I'm still a bit stressed.
Even though I'm still a bit stressed.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
I'm still feeling stressed.
I'm still feeling stressed.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even though I'm still stressed.
Even though I'm still stressed.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Okay. I'm still a bit stressed.
I'm still a bit stressed.
I wish I didn't have so much to do.
I wish I didn't have so much to do.
I don't know when I'm going to get the time to do it.
I don't know when I'm going to get the time to do it.
I know that I can get it done.
I know that I can get it done.
I just need to focus.
I just need to focus.
Perhaps I need to stop putting so much on myself.
Perhaps I need to stop putting so much on myself.
Maybe I just need to start saying no to people.
Maybe I need to start saying no to people.
So that I can get on and focus with the things I need to do.
So that I can get on and focus on the things that I need to do.
So right now I choose to relax.
So now, right now I choose to relax.
I choose to relax.
I choose to relax.
I know I can get it all done.
I know I can get it all done.
I just need to focus.
But I just need to focus.
I can get it all done.
And I can get it all done.
And I'm feeling relaxed now.
And I'm feeling relaxed now.
Okay, so deep breath in again. And exhale. And so, I mean, basically, you kind of keep going round and doing tapping rounds until you've kind of got to a place that you're okay. You might get your stress levels down to a 3 and think, you know, I'm all right with that, and that's absolutely fine. You know, I mean, that I kind of just went with that at the time. I mean, things like, for example, where I said, you know, maybe I need to start saying no to people. You know, that's the perfect example of something that just kind of comes up. It's like a resolution, and quite often when you're doing the tapping, you know, it's like having a kind of a chat with yourself about it, you know, having a word with yourself and, you know, saying things that you'd probably say to reassure somebody else as well. But, you know, these thoughts kind of come up, and you kind of feel okay about it. You know, you come up with a solution, or a thought might come up that then leads on to something else, for example, and then you explore that, you can tap on that. So I hope that demonstration kind of helps. I hope that you're able to get an idea of tapping and, you know, how it's put into practice. And, you know, I think really the key thing to do is to really focus in on the problem. And by doing that and focusing in on your own specific problem, you know, you're you're really tapping in and tuning into that emotion that's behind it. So you know, everyone's unique, everyone experiences things differently, and you know, a round of tapping does need to be a kind of a personal, unique experience. So how are you feeling, Nicola? All right?
Yeah, I really liked that, and it felt really weird doing it knowing that people are watching. I guess I got quite into it, but what I also love about tapping is because what I talk about a lot is getting out of your own head. And doing the process of the tapping is a perfect example of that, because like you said, it's like you're having a conversation with yourself. So instead of that conversation going on internally in your mind, and that's when it becomes really, really angsty, and you kind of going back and forth, and it's kind of this mishmash of thoughts and feelings and emotions. By talking it out to yourself while doing the tapping, you're getting it out. And as soon as you're starting to get it out, it's ultimately always going to be better. So that's kind of another reason why I love tapping. And also, I mean, I've watched YouTube videos about tapping, but it's never been, the difference between those and the session that I had with Samantha was that I was able to make it personal. And having that person to bounce off of. Samantha, when you were asking me questions and it got really specific for things that I didn't even know were there, but as we were kind of going through the round, it's that story really started to develop. A story that was unconsciously in my mind yet was holding me back. And so I love when you say it's kind of, you get personal to what it is that is blocking you, whatever the issue is, whatever the problem is. I think that is so important.
And a really great way of doing that, if you are at home and you're practicing this on yourself, a really good tip, and it's something that I know that you recommend doing anyway, Nicola, is journaling. So what I would recommend that you do is, you know, you get yourself a pad of paper and a pen, and whatever the issue is, you kind of write it down like a stream of consciousness. So whatever comes to mind, you know, if you're thinking about the issue or the problem, you know, just jot down keywords. How are you feeling about it? When does it happen? How does it make you feel? Just to kind of, you're then left then with like a script, essentially, that you can then tap through, looking at this script and reading out these keywords. It's just a great way of kind of really sort of digging into the problem, finding the specifics and really connecting with it. And that's what's really important. I think one thing, I think I did it in our session, another great thing to do is to kind of visualize the problem and put a color on it. Did we do that? I can't remember.
You did. And mine was purple for some reason, randomly.
I mean, it seems like a silly question, you know, what color is that problem? But by kind of visualizing it in your head, your mind and body are kind of creating a connection with that problem again. So that's another good tip. But it's, you know, it is good to work with a practitioner one-on-one. Like I say, you can really get that, you know, the right questions to be asked. And you can kind of, it's a very intuitive kind of process as well. And you can, you know, dig around in different areas and you know, find a result. But it's just as easy to be done at home on yourself, with your own issues. You know, headache, for example. You know, if you've got a headache, do a bit of tapping, see if you can get rid of it.
Absolutely. And why do you think it works?
It's a bit of $1 million question for me. I've read so much and I was taught so much about the science behind it all, and I could probably spout off something about amygdalas and neurotransmitters and kind of memory cells and things like that. But honestly, I mean, for me, it just works, and that's enough for me. So if anybody wants to find out more about the science behind it, I recommend that they go and research it. I'm not the girl to tell you, I'm afraid. It's just one of those things that just works. I mean, in my understanding of it is that just tapping on those meridian points in your body instantly sends calming signals to the brain, instantly physically calms you down. And so whilst you're talking about a problem and talking about a negative issue and sending these calming signals to the brain, you're kind of discharging that emotion, that negative emotion. You know, that's kind of how I would explain it to people.
I answered that question. Yeah, I only asked you that question because I know that especially people that are new to it, they're always going to kind of ask it. It's that rational side of it, us, isn't it, that kind of wants to know. But I always believe if it works, you do it. You don't always need to know the ins and outs of everything. But I personally think it works for me because it creates space for you to just allow yourself to recognize what the issues are. I think when we keep things in our heads, very often it's kind of, like I said, it's swirling around in our minds, but then also it can be magnified into something else, or we're spending so much time in our minds trying to bat it down, trying to push it away, saying, no, I should feel confident, or I shouldn't feel stressed, and you're just trying to fight it. And so one of the beautiful things about EFT is actually you just recognize the problem. I remember the first time I did it, I was like, but if I don't feel confident, why am I saying I don't feel confident? Because everything that I've been taught is, well, if you don't feel confident, just fake it till you make it. Like,
don't focus on the negative.
Exactly. And I found that really unusual and quite out of my comfort zone, to be honest, when I first started, that suddenly I was like, relenting to that feeling, and it brought stuff out of me. Like, I found it quite an emotional experience because it's kind of like, yeah, I don't feel confident and I feel like I'm going to be laughed at or ridiculed or whatever it is, and to be admitting it and saying it over and over again was hard at first, but in creating that space, it's giving it that kind of release. And another thing that I think is massive as well is the love and accept myself. I so passionately believe that we don't tell ourselves that enough.
And that is, sorry, that is a really hard thing a lot of people have to say. And if people aren't comfortable saying it, you know, just saying, even though I have this problem, I'm okay, or I forgive, or something along those lines.
Absolutely, because often we think that the problems are us, that they may be a reflection of us. So if we're stressed, maybe it's because we don't deal with stress well, and we should be dealing with stress well. But actually, aside from the way that you're feeling, you're not the way you feel. So aside from the fact that I might feel not unconfident, or I might feel stressed, or feel out of balance, or feel angry, I still love and accept myself. I'm still okay. And I think that alone is a message that so many of us need to hear, often on a daily basis, that aside from whatever is going on, we are enough and we are okay. And I just love that part of EFT. So it's all kind of the elements together, never mind what Samantha's also added in about the meridian points and the energy release and all of that kind of stuff. It's just the whole package together really works.
And what you said about, you know, focusing on the negative, you know, you're not alone with that. A lot of people really struggle. Well, why do I sort of have to do that setup, and why do I have to talk about the problem? But the point is that the issue is already there. The problem is there. You know, we already feel these things, and by ignoring them, they don't go away. You know, we're still holding on to these issues. So, you know, temporarily, let's focus on them. Let's acknowledge them, and then we can, you know, discharge. And then they're not there, and then you can focus on the positive. You know.
Absolutely. And then just going back to the setup then, so is that why it's so important that we have that setup, that we're kind of acknowledging what the problem is?
Yes. You know, I think that the setup, you know, you what you want to do, an ideal setup really is sort of quite a specific keywords, sort of a simple phrase that you use that will describe your problem. So I'm stressed, I've got so much to do. We would start off with even though, because what we're saying, like you said, you know, even though I've got this problem, so even though I have this problem, I'm okay. And what we're doing is, by saying that we're okay with the problem, it means that we are no longer holding on to it. We're able to let it go. So that's what that's about. It is weird saying it. It is uncomfortable. Everyone sort of feels awkward the first time they say it. We repeat it 3 times, and I don't know why 3 times. There must be a reason behind that. I have to look that up. But I just, you know, it's just that's how I was taught. That's how you know, I've seen it done, and why change something, you know, if it works. So yeah.
Fab. And we don't need to be in a specific place to be able to do it, do we? Like, we don't need to light candles and get the incense.
No. No. I mean, ideally, you know, if you can give yourself, you know, 20 minutes of your own time, and you can get yourself in a place where you're not going to be disturbed, and you can kind of make it about you. And you know, this is a therapy, and you are sort of addressing some emotional issues, and so, you know, treat yourself nicely and maybe focus on it. However, you know, this is a really great tool for especially things like anxiety, and you could be out on a bus, for example, and suddenly have feelings of anxiety or feelings of panic, and this is a really good little technique that you know, that is portable. You know, you can incorporate this in a supermarket. You can do this on the bus. I wouldn't recommend, you know, all of this necessarily in public, but you know, certainly there are points. I mean, this one's quite a discreet point, and it's quite a good meridian point there. It's one of the central ones. So tapping there. And focusing on just one tapping point if you're out in public and you know, you don't want to make a scene, and just, you know, you don't have to vocalize what's going on. If you're already experiencing those feelings, if you're in the midst of a bit of an anxiety attack or a panic situation, you're already feeling those. You already have that connection to that feeling, so you don't need to do the setup. You don't need to talk about it. You don't have to say it out loud. You can just literally sort of think in your mind and discreetly tap, and you'll be able to certainly just reduce those feelings of anxiety and stress.
Definitely. And I second that, because sometimes, often on the tube, because I'm, as a busy mum, I don't always, it's hard to carve out time sometimes, even time for tapping, which even saying it sounds a little so even on the tube, it could be something that's like, might be an ongoing fear. So it could be a fear of being visible, for instance, which might be an ongoing problem rather than just an anxiety attack. And that might be something that I'll discreetly tap on, like this on the tube, or that script going in my mind, and then that's sets me up way ahead or whatever it's that I've got. But I do like to incorporate tapping where I can into daily life, so it's good to hear that that's okay. And it doesn't have to be just down, I'm going to tap right now type thing. So that's
right.
So I don't think we've got any questions right now, but what we can do as well is open it up to questions in the Facebook group. So people are more than happy, more than welcome to leave their questions there as well. But I just like to say thank you, Samantha. Even though I know about EFT, that was still and has really kind of re-energized my love for it as well. So thank you.
Good.
Very, very
well,
much.
Hopefully you're feeling nice and calm now. I certainly am.
Yes, exactly. And so where can we find you, Samantha?
Okay, so I have a Facebook page, Samantha Wardle Hypnotherapy. Currently working on space. I'll let you be the first to know when I've got that up and running. So Samantha Wardle Hypnotherapy on Facebook. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so I'd just like to take this opportunity as well to launch talk about a new group program that I'm going to be launching in July. So it's basically going to be 21 days to a more inspired life. And it's all about introducing you to tools and techniques like EFT, like journaling, lots of different things, but taking the woo-woo out of them and making them practical and actionable things that you can carve into your daily life. So I would love you to join me on that group program, and more details will be coming very, very soon. And for the first 5 people that sign up, the bonus is that they get an hour's consultation with Samantha, which I'm really excited about, because I just want everyone to try out EFT and to try it with someone as well, because the benefits that you get from that where it's personalized to you, are just amazing. That's where you can really, really see the results. Obviously you can do it yourself, but when you get that personal interaction and somebody's kind of feeding your words back to you and kind of drawing that story out from you, that's when the magic really, really starts to happen. So look out for details of the group program coming very, very soon. And thank you for being here. It's been our first masterclass, hopefully the first of...
You did it.
Hey, Samantha.
We done it.
One thing actually that I've got a question in. So I've got a toddler. Well, she's 3 years old next week. I don't know if that still counts her as a toddler, but I'm really keen to introduce tapping to her. So I don't know if maybe that's another session, a masterclass on that. But what are your thoughts on introducing tapping with children?
I think children are really responsive to it. It's done very differently with children, young children. You can actually tap on them. So babies, distressed, you don't need to obviously vocalize all the problem and identify the problems or anything like that. But children are really responsive to hypnotherapy and EFT. And I mean, the other day I did some tapping with a 5-year-old, and she was fantastic. You know, she was able to do all the tapping herself. We made it fun. You know, she was popping bubbles, and you know, we just sort of you make it a nice, safe and comfortable environment for them. There's a really great book actually called EFT Tapping for Kids. It's by Angie something or other. I'm going to have to find out the name of that, but there's a fantastic book with a CD that comes along with it as well. So that's great for children. But no, I mean, there's no reason why you can't tap with children. And you know, if you can kind of catch them in that moment, you know, if they're having, particularly older children, when they're sort of beginning to experience feelings of anxiety and things like that, if you can catch them at that moment and discharge those negative feelings, you know, then all the better. They're not building them up inside and carrying them into their, you know, adult life with all those issues. So it's something that I sort of kind of really support, and you know, children's mental health is really important. So yeah, tap on children. Yeah, get the children tapping.
Exactly, and it's all about, like we said in the beginning, it's all about building that toolkit to help you through life, and EFT can work for everybody. So I really hope that this has given you an insight into what EFT is, and that it encourages you to try it and see if it's something that works for you. It might not, because obviously we're all different and not everything works for everyone, but there's a high chance that it might just become your new secret weapon. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. And we will see you very, very soon. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.